Let's start with the good news first, because yes, despite everything that unfolded, there is some good news. The Warriors came out and did exactly what every road team is supposed to do in the opening 2 games of a playoff series. They stole one. That's the goal when you're away from home. Win at least one and swing the pressure back to the opponent. And that's what they did in Game 1. It wasn't perfect, it wasn't dominant, but it was gritty and effective, and in the playoffs, that's all that matters. But then came Game 2. This one was rough. Not just because of the final score, but because of how early the game slipped away. From midway through the second quarter, the Warriors were trailing by double digits, and they never got it back under that mark. At no point did it feel like they were threatening to make a serious run. Every time they cut it to 11, the other team pushed it back to 16. 12. It became 18. 13. Suddenly it was 19. They never closed that gap. Not once did they manage to bring it to single digits. It was one of those games where you could feel the control slipping, and no matter what the Warriors did, the opponents always had an answer. To make matters worse, midway through that second game, the team suffered what could be a serious blow. One of their key players went down hard after contesting a shot near the rim. He tried to land under control, but as his legs came out from under him, he took a violent fall, landing directly on his lower back and pelvic area. It looked bad in real time, and even worse on the replay. There was no foul on the play, just an awkward loss of balance. But the result was alarming. You could see immediately that something wasn't right. The way he stayed down, holding his side, grimacing in pain. And then, the slow, careful walk toward the tunnel said everything. He didn't return for the rest of the game. After the game, the team confirmed that he would undergo imaging, X-rays followed by an MRI the next day. It's too early to know the full extent of the injury, but given the location and the severity of the impact, the concern is real. This isn't just about whether he can play in Game 3. This is about whether he can move. Similar injuries have already sidelined 2 other players this season. One missed a game. The other missed 2. So the precedent is there, and so is the uncertainty. And even if he's clear to play in Game 3, there's the question of mobility. Will he be able to cut, pivot, explode off the dribble, or will he be limited to spot-up shooting and careful movement? It's the playoffs. Players push through pain all the time. Adrenaline, treatment, maybe even an injection to manage discomfort. All that's possible. But effectiveness? That's a different conversation. Complicating things further, another player who had been battling illness suited up for the game, but he clearly wasn't himself. He didn't play at all in the second quarter, came back in the third, but his rhythm was off, his energy was low, and he never re-entered after that. Whatever flu-like symptoms he was dealing with, they were still lingering. The team is now hoping that with 2 full days off before Game 3, plus an extra rest day built into the schedule, he'll be back at full strength. But nothing is guaranteed. Not with illness. Not with this time of year. Injuries and sickness aside, the Warriors struggled across the board in this second game. Their biggest problem? The paint. They were dominated inside. Plain and simple. The rebounding margin was alarming. Offensive boards, defensive boards, they lost both battles. And when you're giving up second-chance opportunities while failing to create your own, the math stops working in your favor. They actually attempted more 3-pointers than the other team, but it didn't matter. Not when you're giving up easy buckets around the rim. The physicality just wasn't there. The numbers tell the story. The broadcast even showed a graphic that made it painfully clear. The opponents maintained a double-digit lead for the vast majority of the night. At no point did the Warriors get closer than 11. They had runs, moments, but they were instantly snuffed out. The other team just kept answering, kept punching back, and they did it with a defense that forced turnovers, pressured passing lanes, and used active hands to disrupt the Warriors' rhythm. One of the team's primary ball handlers was double-teamed all night long. With another guard out sick and no true backup facilitator available, the burden became too heavy. He turned the ball over 6 times. Another player, also pressed into a bigger role, had 5 turnovers of his own. The pressure was unrelenting, and the offense never found a counter. There were small flashes. One player came in during the second quarter and scored 9 points almost immediately. He ended with 11 in limited minutes, but those 9 were critical in keeping the score somewhat manageable. He was moving well without the ball, coming off screens, finding gaps, things the team needs more of. Because what they can't do is rely on one-on-one creation. That just isn't working right now. Foul trouble was another issue. Several players picked up 3 fouls in the first half, but the Warriors couldn't capitalize. No one on the opposing side fouled out. No one sat for long stretches. The opportunity was there, and the team couldn't take advantage. That's been a theme lately. Another player, who had been struggling with confidence, played 26 minutes and showed signs of life. After the starter went down, he filled in, found a little rhythm, even scored a couple of baskets. He still turned it over once or twice, but just seeing him get going was encouraging. If the injured starter can't go in Game 3, his minutes become even more important. They'll need him badly. The final quarter became a test of depth. Players who hadn't seen much action got their chance. One knocked down a few late shots. Another struggled early, but played better late. One player, though, is still a concern. He hasn't contributed much all series. His presence has been mostly invisible. And then there was a confrontation. Midway through the game, one of the Warriors got into it with a rival, the kind of heated exchange that reminds you how high the stakes are. Tempers flared. Words were exchanged. It wasn't just about that possession. It was the culmination of a frustrating night. Ultimately, it was a disappointing performance, one that leaves a lot of unanswered questions. But at least now the team returns home. The Chase Center awaits. The crowd will be ready. The question is, will the players be ready too? Will the injured star be back? Can the sick guard recover in time? Game 3 is Saturday, and the scheduling is kind. 2 full days off, no back-to-backs. If Saturday doesn't work, maybe Monday will. That gives the team time, not a lot, but enough. We'll be watching closely for updates. Post-game media, coach interviews, medical reports. They'll all be crucial in the next 48 hours. And we'll bring it all to you as it happens. For now, the series is tied. 1 win apiece. Game 3 is coming, and the spotlight is shifting to San Francisco. Stay locked in. The pressure now moves to San Francisco, not just to win, but to answer. Game 3 isn't just a swing game. It's a statement game. You come out flat in Game 3 at home with 2 days of rest, and you're not just behind in the series, you're behind emotionally. Momentum will be gone. Confidence will be rattled. The crowd can lift you, but only if you give them something to believe in early. That's where everything starts. And for the Warriors, it has to start with defense. Because here's the truth, they haven't been consistent on that end. Not enough ball pressure, not enough rim protection, not enough discipline. And when you're giving up 30-plus points in multiple quarters, you're not winning playoff games. That's the standard. That's the truth. You can talk about offensive rhythm all day, but defense is what carries you through the grind of series. And that grind just got a lot heavier with the injuries and the uncertainty surrounding the rotation. Right now, everyone's waiting on the medical update. It's not just fans, it's the coaching staff too. They need to know what they're working with. If the starting guard is out, it changes the entire structure of the lineup. The rotations shift. Responsibilities shift. You're suddenly relying on guys who've barely played together in high-leverage minutes. And when that happens, communication matters more than ever. One slip, a missed switch, a late rotation, and it's 2 points the other way. That margin is everything. But even if he plays, the question becomes how. What version of him are you getting? Is he going to be a decoy, spacing the floor, but not creating? Or will he be aggressive, attacking off the dribble, diving into the paint, absorbing contact? Because if he's compromised, and that seems likely, the Warriors need to prepare for that. They need to game plan around his limitations, not just hope he plays through them. That means more movement, more off-ball screening, more shared responsibility. They can't just wait for him to save them. Those days are over. And then there's the emotional side. That Game 2 loss stung. You could see in their faces, in their body language, in the post-game interviews. That wasn't just frustration, it was disappointment. There was a real sense that they let one slip away. Not because they were outmatched, but because they didn't meet the moment. That's a different kind of pain, one that lingers. Veterans will need to step up, not just in scoring, but in composure. They have to steady the group. Remind the younger guys that the series isn't lost. That momentum shifts quickly. That one game can change everything. It's an old playoff saying, you're never as good as you think you are after a win, and you're never as bad as you feel after a loss. But those words only mean something if someone believes them enough to say them out loud. And in this locker room, someone has to speak up, because Game 3 is going to be physical. That much is guaranteed. The other team smelled blood in Game 2. They'll come into San Francisco trying to knock the Warriors out early. They'll push the tempo, test the transition defense, challenge every screen, and crash the offensive glass with even more intensity. They know that if they take Game 3, they take control of the series. And they're not going to wait around for the Warriors to find their rhythm, which means Golden State has to be the aggressor. From the opening tip, not in a reckless way, but with intent. Attack mismatches, set hard screens, move without the ball, make the defense work, wear them down, and above all, take care of the ball. That was one of the biggest problems in Game 2. Careless passes, forced drives, rushed decisions. You can't turn the ball over 17 times and expect to win in the postseason. Not at this level. They also need their role players to show up. You can't win this series with just 2 or 3 guys scoring in double figures. You need production from the bench. You need the guys who only play 12 to 15 minutes to make them count. Knock down the open 3. Grab a loose rebound. Make the smart rotation. These are the margins that define playoff games. And right now, Golden State needs every edge they can find. Coaching adjustments will matter too. The Warriors need to rethink their coverage on the pick and roll. They've been getting burned there, especially when they drop back too far or switch without help. It's leading to too many open looks in the mid-range and too many easy lobs at the rim. At some point, they have to decide, are we going to blitz the ball? Are we going to fight over screens? Are we going to trust help defense? Whatever the answer is, it has to be decisive. Because hesitation is what's killing them right now. The same goes for rotations. Minutes have to be managed. Fatigue is real, especially when your core guys are logging heavy minutes due to injuries. You can't just ride your starters for 40 minutes a night and expect them to be fresh in the fourth quarter. There has to be trust in the bench, even if it's just for 5 or 6 minutes at a time. Because those short stretches add up, and if the bench can hold a lead or cut into a deficit, that's a win. That's survival. But above all, Game 3 is about pride. Not just protecting home court, protecting your identity. The Warriors have built a reputation on ball movement, defense, toughness, and resilience. That wasn't there in Game 2. Not consistently. Not convincingly. And now they have to prove that wasn't who they are. That it was just one bad night. Because if they don't, if they come out flat again, they risk falling behind in a way that's hard to recover from. So this is it. The moment where you find out what kind of team you really are. Not when things are going well, not when the shots are falling, but when you're bruised, short-handed, and staring at adversity. That's when the truth comes out. And Game 3 will be the truth. We'll be there. Every dribble, every possession, every reaction. Because this series is far from over, and the next chapter is about to be written in San Francisco. Before we continue, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any exclusive Dubs updates. Let's keep going. In a move that has sent shockwaves through the NBA, Kevin Durant has made a stunning return to the Golden State Warriors, signing a blockbuster 3-year deal. The announcement has taken the basketball world by surprise, as Durant's departure from the Warriors in 2019 after winning 2 NBA championships with the team had left fans wondering if there would ever be a reunion. Durant, who spent the past few seasons with the Brooklyn Nets and recently the Phoenix Suns, has had a storied career. His time in Golden State was marked by incredible success, both individually and as a part of a championship-caliber team. His arrival in 2016 transformed the Warriors into a dynasty, and his 2 Finals MVPs in 2017 and 2018 cement his legacy as one of the game's greatest players. However, his departure in 2019 raised questions about the future of the Warriors and whether they could continue to compete for titles without him. Now, just a few years later, Durant has returned to the Bay Area, much to the excitement of Warriors fans and the NBA at large. The terms of the deal, reportedly worth over $120 million, make him one of the highest-paid players in the league for the duration of his contract. His signing is not just a major boost to the Warriors' championship aspirations, but also a statement that Golden State is not finished yet in its pursuit of dominance. Durant's return is set to add even more firepower to a Warriors roster already loaded with talent. The team's core, consisting of Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green, will be bolstered by Durant's scoring ability, versatility, and leadership. With a proven track record of postseason success, Durant provides a much-needed injection of experience and star power to a team eager to prove it can still compete with the best in the league. For Durant, this move marks a new chapter in his career. After his time with the Nets and Suns, his return to the Warriors represents a chance to chase more championships in familiar surroundings. Golden State's high-octane offense, combined with Durant's skill set, creates a matchup nightmare for opponents, and it's likely that the team will be the favorites to capture another NBA title in the coming seasons. The signing also raises intriguing questions about the league's power dynamics. With Durant back in Golden State, the Warriors are once again in the upper echelon of contenders, and the competition will be fierce. Teams like the Milwaukee Bucks, Boston Celtics, and Phoenix Suns, where Durant played last season, will all be looking to take down the Warriors and prevent another dynasty from forming in the Bay Area. In the end, this move reaffirms the Warriors' championship pedigree and solidifies their place as one of the most dangerous teams in the NBA. With Durant back in the fold, the Warriors are poised to make another run at the title, and the league will be watching closely as the new-look Warriors aim to reclaim their spot atop the NBA. Stay updated exclusively with the latest Dub Nation news. Subscribe to our channel and hit the like button to keep getting daily updates on the Warriors. Don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments. Your input is essential for the Dubs community. Stay tuned for the next video.